Episode 17, The Fall Festival.
Barton County's Fall Festival wasn't just an event, it was a checkpoint. You showed up, or you spent the next month explaining yourself at the Dollar General, the gas pumps, and church. By late afternoon, the courthouse square glowed under strings of orange bulbs draped from lamppost to lamppost. Hay bales sat like barricades around the gazebo. The air smelled like kettle corn, chili, caramel, and wet leaves warming on blacktop. Somewhere a tractor idled like it was thinking about retirement. Frank leaned against his pickup with a styrofoam cup of coffee, hoodie zipped to his chin. He watched the square like a man checking the weather, deciding which way the night might blow. Hudson pinballed from booth to booth with a caramel apple, already wearing half of it across his hoodie and a good strip down one sleeve. "Slow down before you pass out," Frank called. "Let him run," Harry said, hands sunk in his jacket pockets. Festivals like Halloween candy, fun going in, ugly coming out. Diane arrived like a front line advancing, cigarette in one hand, styrofoam bowl of chili in the other, purse slung high like armor. She gave Hudson a once-over and then cut her eyes at Frank. "You can't keep that boy clean 5 minutes. Apple didn't fall far from the tree. You were born stained first." Frank took a sip. "Good to see you too, Mom." Harry smirked. Some families hug, some insult. Saves time. Across the square, Cheryl Ann waved so big it looked like she was directing traffic. Beside her stood Hannah, petite, braid over one shoulder, denim jacket, buttoned, neat, city polish on a small-town soul. She had the kind of smile that didn't flash so much as stay. "Frank McElfresh," she said when they met at the craft tent, still hiding under that ball cap. Frank tugged the brim. "Guess I am." "Dragged her back from the city," Cheryl Ann said, proud like she'd reeled in a prize fish. Hudson looked up from his apple. "You know my dad." "Since we were kids," Hannah said. Her eyes held Frank's a beat too long. "Harry, dry as Missouri dust, beat him at cornhole once. He's still sore. I'll let her win," Frank said. Diane snorted. If Frank lost, he really lost. Ricky materialized with steam, curling off a paper cup of cider, flannel half-buttoned like it had given up mid-dress. He stopped, grinned. "Well, I'll be Hannah Foster. Thought you retired to Chicago to judge us from afar. Hey, Ricky." He clapped Frank's shoulder. "Y'all don't even know. I've been throwing bags with this man since high school. If he signs up tonight, the rest of you might as well go donate your entry fees to charity." "Ricky?" Frank groaned, but the seed was planted and everyone heard it land. "Speaking of charity," Harry said, eyeing Ricky's cup, "what did cider cost you?" Ricky winked. "Vendor says it's $2. For me, it's motivation." Translation: "He doubled your price," Harry said. "You got the face of a surcharge?" Hannah's laugh came easy, and Frank felt it down in the same place he always had. By dusk, the square thumped with a cousin's bluegrass band and the steady whir of generators. Kids pinwheeled by with glow sticks. A radio truck gave out keychains. The line for apple slushies snaked like a python. Somewhere a cow in the petting zoo let out the kind of moo that sounded like it regretted signing the contract. Hudson filmed in quick bursts. Episode 17, he whispered into his phone. Barton County Fall Festival Special. Dad's coffee count, 2. Papa's insult count, already illegal. He panned to Diane, squinting at people like a foreman counting late workers. Diane did her usual circuit, greeting, judging, tallying. "Look at Marlene Kincaid's scarecrow," she hissed to Frank, pointing with her cigarette. "Ugliest thing here. Looks just like her husband if he fell asleep at the mower." "Please don't start a scarecrow war," Frank said. Too late. She lit another menthol. "They started it when they dressed that straw man in cargo shorts." Ricky had tested the cider stand so often the vendor taped up a hand-lettered sign. "Ricky Price, double." Ricky took it as a title. Doug wandered in wearing a cowboy hat 2 sizes too small, Bill's character. And he and Marty argued about pumpkin weights like they'd both been deputized by agriculture. Harry watched, clutching fresh kettle corn like an evidence bag. "Every year somebody strains something," he told Hudson. "My money is on Marty's pride." Hannah drifted alongside Frank past quilts and hand-lettered signs. Blessed, this kitchen is for dancing, live, laugh, lawn darts. She walked slower than the crowd, as if listening for a note only she could hear. Everything feels smaller than I remember, she said. Town hasn't changed, Frank said. You have? She murmured, and then colored. I mean, good. Happier, maybe? Frank missed the undertow. Got more gray hair. Earned, she said. Looks good. He shoved his hands deeper in his hoodie, settling 19 again, and not prepared for it. They paused at the ring toss. Remember when you promised to win me a goldfish? She teased. I did, Frank said. It lasted 48 hours. I named it Winner so it could leave with dignity. She laughed. Show me you still got it. He paid for 3 throws and hit 2. The carny clapped like he'd seen better. Frank handed the prize, a plastic sheriff badge, to Hudson, who wore it with the seriousness of new rank. Back on the midway, a guy in a hot dog suit attempted to dance. Ricky shouted, "Shake it, Nathans." Doug tried to talk a tractor salesman into a survival discount. Diane strode through the cakewalk tent and announced to no one, "I've had better frosting from a can." Harry reappeared with a flyer and a look. $200 for cornhole. Frank, go sign up before Dale Higgins drinks himself brave. I'm not playing, Frank said. Yes, you are, Ricky declared. This is charity. I've been subsidizing your talent for years, Hannah tilted her head. You should. Might be worth it. Hudson grabbed Frank's sleeve. Sign up, Dad. Do it. Do it. Do it. Frank sighed like a man who'd been outvoted by fate, fished out a 20, and scrawled his name on the bracket board. Attaboy, Harry said. Regret looks good on you, Diane added. Thanks, Frank said, deadpan. While the heat spun up, the whole crew looped the square. Ricky failed the milk bottle game 3 times and then tried to bribe the carny with a corn dog. The carny considered it. Harry bought a funnel cake for medicinal use and told Hudson, if you sprinkle enough powdered sugar on your problems, they shut up. Diane challenged a teenager running a photo booth to make her look 10 years younger. The kid pressed a button marked SOFT, focus, and build her cash. Worth it, she declared, squinting at the print. Hannah walked beside Frank in a quiet that didn't need filling. Chicago treating you all right? He asked. It's loud, she said. You don't realize noise is just noise until you leave. Here, when it's quiet, it's actually quiet. Quiet's not so bad, he said. Not bad at all, she replied. Soft enough, he almost missed it. Hudson sprinted up, waving the bracket. Dad, you're up in 10. Hannah squeezed Frank's arm. Quick, light, like a secret. Go win something. At first, nobody cared. Just a folding board, some bean bags, another dad in a hoodie. First frame, Frank tossed a calm little arc that slid and dropped through like it already had tickets. Second, bag leaned. Third found the hole again. By his second round, a ripple moved through the onlookers, like the key had changed on the bandstand. Harry locked in behind the rope and started color commentary, whether the world wanted it or not. That's rent money. Don't measure. We can see it from space. Like taking candy from a big, drunk baby. Ricky paced like a corner man with a towel over his shoulder. I told you, he boomed. Dale Higgins is about to cry in his bush light. He high-fived strangers. A toddler panicked. Ricky apologized and offered the toddler cider. The toddler declined and judged him. Diane clapped in staccato and laced it with motivational barbs. If he loses, I'm telling everyone the driveway practices were cardio. By the semis, vendors leaned out of tents. Teens climbed the war memorial steps. Hudson found an angle near the rope and narrated like ESPN had finally called. And McElfresh lines up. He breathes. Papa's eating popcorn at a speed I didn't know was legal. Throw is up. Synced IT. Harry corrected without looking. It's sunk. But he synced it. On a break, Frank rolled his shoulder. That last one twinged. Tomorrow's problem, Harry replied. The final set up just right. Frank versus Dale Higgins. Dale with his beer and the confidence of a man who'd never done the math. "You been practicing, McElfresh?" Dale crowed. "I brought luck and an extra bush." Frank said nothing. He let the boards do the conversation. First frame, 2-1 Frank. Second, a slight hand drop that even the carny applauded. Third, an airmail over a blocker, so clean three uncles whistled in harmony. Fourth, wash. Fifth, Frank knocked his own leaning bag in like a pool shot. He hadn't planned it, but he took the credit in silence. Dale's talk got louder as his points got fewer. Frank's face looked bored in a way that said lethal. Hudson's hand shook on the phone. "If Dad wins, we're getting nachos," he stage whispered. "We were getting nachos either way," Ricky promised, already searching the horizon for cheese. It came down to the last toss. Dale needed a miracle. Busch Light was not one. Frank needed one on the board to seal it. He could have laid up and played safe. He didn't. He lofted. Perfect arc, soft kiss on the lip, bag slipped through like it had been called home by name. The square detonated. Hudson leaped into Frank's arms. Ricky spun like a ceiling fan on high. "King of the boards," he yelled, nearly baptizing a stranger insider. Larson in a sweater barked twice like an amen. Diane clapped sharp. "Finally useful for something besides cluttering my garage." Harry folded his arms, nodded once. "Easy money." Photos happened. Frank the board, the carved pumpkin trophy with cross bean bags painted on its belly. The prize money came in 20s. It smelled like fry oil. Frank didn't smile big, just enough to say it mattered. As the crowd thinned, he sat on a bench at the edge of the square with the trophy between his boots. The bandstand slid into slow songs. October's edge crept up, reminding everybody jackets aren't guarantees. Hannah returned with 2 hot ciders. She sat beside him, leaving just enough space that it meant something. She passed him a cup, fingers brushing. "You never told anyone you were that good." "Didn't think it mattered?" he said. "It does," she said. "You've always surprised people." He looked at her, trying to hear what she'd tucked between the words. "You staying long?" "A few days." She watched teenagers pretend not to be watched. "You know what I missed most? When someone laughs on one side of the square, you can hear it on the other. In the city, noise is just noise. Here, it belongs to somebody." "Yeah," Frank said, and meant it. She tucked a loose strand behind her ear. "Do you remember when we were 12 and you carried my books every day for a month?" "You had too many," he said. "You never asked for anything back," she said. Frank stared into his cup. "Didn't feel like I needed to." "There's a lot you don't ask for," she said softly. "Just don't wait on everything." She said it like she didn't expect an answer. He opened his mouth and found nothing he trusted. "I'm slow," he said. "I know," she laughed. "Kind. It's all right." From the truck, Harry's timing came like a cymbal crash. "Careful, Hannah. Sit too close and I'll have you hauling trash out of the garage." She shook her head, laughing. "Some things don't change." "Some do," Frank said, and didn't know if he meant him or the air. "It was good seeing you," she said, standing. She hesitated, then leaned in and kissed his cheek. Quick, warm, a pressed flower of a moment. When she pulled back, her eyes held his again, like there was a sentence she was willing to say if he started it. He didn't. He smiled, soft and useless. "You too, Hannah." "Don't wait 20 years, she said. "Chicago's not that far." "Guess not," he said. She went, braid swaying, swallowed by light and chatter. Frank watched till the crowd made watching foolish. By the time they loaded up, the square was half dark. The band packed gear, clanks, and laughter bounced under the bulbs. Hudson knocked out in the back seat, arms draped around the pumpkin trophy like it might escape. Ricky kept singing the same chorus fragment until Diane threatened to stuff him in a hay bale. Doug tried to give Frank tips on trophy storage, long haul, and Marty offered to write a victory song working title, Cornhole of Glory. Cheryl Ann begged him not to. Frank turned the key. The radio found a station between ads and let Tracy Lawrence drift in, If the World Had a Front Porch. The guitar line rolled through the cab like a blanket that remembered exactly where they ached. Ricky hummed too loud, proudly off-key. Diane thumped his shoulder. You couldn't carry a tune in a wheelbarrow. I'm harmonizing, he said. Sounds like a crime, Harry muttered. Frank eased down the brick street, headlights washing over leaves, the lantern shrinking in the mirror till the square became just another lit place they'd left. Tracy sang about front porches and good sense and easier versions of everything, and for a minute, nobody felt like talking. It wasn't silence so much as a held breath the whole truck shared. At a stop sign, Harry spoke without looking away from the windshield. That girl, he said, voice even, has looked at you the same way since you were kids. Frank swallowed. He watched the cross street like it might answer for him. What way is that? Harry shrugged. Like you hung the moon by accident? And you'd apologize for it. Frank gave a small, defensive snort that didn't have any teeth. You always think you know everything. I don't, Harry said. I just watch. He tapped the dashboard twice. You're a good man, son. Don't wait on everything. Then, almost as a mercy, he added, and if you do wait, at least win us another 200 next weekend. From the back seat came a sleepy mumble. To get nachos? Hudson slurred around the trophy. Ricky perked up instantly, see the boy's a visionary. Diane sighed. Lord help me. If I wake up to cheese on my throw pillows again, I'm burning this county down. They rolled the last mile in a quiet that felt easier now. The song ended as Frank turned into the drive. He killed the engine, and the night folded back around them. Crickets, fur-off dog, the October cold that makes wood smoke taste sweeter in the air. Diane climbed out with a grunt. I need a cigarette and a chiropractor. Ricky saluted the mailbox with his empty cup. King of his foot found the curb of the driveway. He pinwheeled, recovered, and bowed like it was a bit. Boards. World-class athlete, Harry said, deadpan, heading for the side door. Frank Lingard. Hudson slept slack-jawed around the trophy, the dome light turning him into a small moon of his own. Frank eased the pumpkin from his arms. The boy stirred and smiled without waking. Good job, Dad, he murmured. Frank stood there a second and let that be enough. The wind, the song, the look he almost recognized. He carried the trophy into the garage, the night air sharp with October. The old light buzzed to life overhead, casting the workbench in that warm gold haze that made everything, dust, dents, and history, look softer. He set the trophy down beside the old coffee can full of nails and reached under a ragged stack of newspapers. Out came a small photo, creased, worn, nearly forgotten. It was him and Hannah, teenagers, leaning on that same truck, under the same fairground lights. Her braid, his crooked grin, two kids frozen in a world that hadn't yet turned complicated. Frank smiled, slow and real. He brushed the edge of the photo with his thumb and set it next to the trophy. The garage stayed quiet except for the hum of the light and the faint echo of the song still stuck in his head. The trophy and the photo stayed side by side on the bench, glowing faint in the window's moonlight. One fall night, one cornhole, king crowned, one look that might finally be heard. This is life at Frank's place.
Well, if you made it all the way to the end, either you really liked the story, or your phone fell asleep before you did. Either way, I appreciate you. For the full Frank's Place episodes, previews, and miniseries, follow us on Facebook. That's where all the chaos lies. And for the full audiobook versions, subscribe to the Frank's Place YouTube channel, where the stories run longer than Harry's one-liners. This is Life at Frank's Place.